I would like to see a commitment by the province of Manitoba to improve education for First Nations, Métis, and Inuit students.
The first provincial budget since the discovery of thousands of unmarked graves at residential schools across Canada is almost here, and with that, a hope that this tragedy sparks meaningful financial commitments from Premier Heather Stephenson's government.
I'm cautiously optimistic is a way to put it, I suppose.
Frank Deere is an Associate Dean of Indigenous Education at the University of Manitoba. His hope is that the province meaningfully funds Indigenous education this year. Deere says universities in Manitoba have committed to Indigenous engagement and strategic plans, and so have school divisions, but future Indigenous educators need the equity to pursue these opportunities.
Ensuring that there is support for Indigenous peoples to be in post-secondary education and to acquire the development opportunities in faculties and schools of education so that they can return to their communities or work in other communities in order to support Indigenous education is really quite important. That's something that the government can do right now.
We're at the top of the statistics all the time, negative statistics. We got to prevent that.
Wayne Mason is the executive director of Wasay Healing Centre, one of 10 Indigenous healing centres to receive provincial funding just this week. Wasay also just held a conference that drew in over 700 survivors, of which 120 signed up for healing in a single day. He sees this government making an effort, but with so many seeking healing from the trauma of residential schools, knows more needs to be seen in this budget.
Costs keep going up, our rent keeps going up, salaries keep going up, all the expenses are there. But our budget stays the same. We need help. We need, we can't keep. We're getting behind as fast as we're going forward. Like there's too many people to work with, and not enough staff.
Residential school survivor Sue Caribou is hoping to see funding that can help Indigenous youth thrive. She says she'd love to see funding for youth centers in isolated communities, mobility funding, and funding for educational classes in Indigenous languages.
I'm hoping that they will think of the next generation and do something with the money to help the generation have a positive life.
The federal budget proposed an investment of $11 billion over 6 years to support Indigenous children and families. We will learn what the province will invest on Tuesday when Manitoba's budget is presented. In Winnipeg, Mike Albanese, City News.